So friends, today we are going to start a new topic in anatomy and physiology, that is human development and genetics. So first of all, we'll talk about human development, then genetics. Okay, so basically it is the part of further female reproductive system. Okay, it is related human development. Okay, and we will call obstetric also gynec related thing. So basically, after fertilization, after ova and sperm cell meet together, then we have one fertilization, further development of human will happen. So they will begin with one cell. So we will call embryo. What we will call? We will call embryo. So let's talk about how often have we heard comments such as she has her mother's eyes or that nose is just like his father? Because people cannot resist comparing a newborn with his or her parents. Although a child may not resemble either parent, there is a sound basis for some comparisons because the genetic makeup and many of the traits of a child are the result of the chromosomes inherited from mother and father. So we will talk about fundamentals of genetics and inheritance. So how the fundamentals human development will happen? Let's talk about further. We have steps. First is fertilization. First is fertilization. Next is embryo and embryonic membrane. Okay. Next we have placenta and umbilical cord, placental hormones. So this is happening, parturition and labor. So this is the last process. Okay. And after birth, the infant at birth. So, okay. So these are the things we will discuss in detail here. So first of all, we will talk about fertilization. Fertilization, implantation. Okay. Both. Fertilization. Although millions of sperm are deposited in the vagina during sexual intercourse, only one will fertilize an ovum. As the sperm swim through the fluid of the uterus and fallopian tube, they undergo a final metabolical changes called capacitation. This change involves the acrosome, which becomes more fragile. When sperm and egg make contact, the acrosomal enzymes will digest the layer of the cells and membrane around an ovum. So, first of all, we know that this is the ova. Okay, this is the sperm cell. This is the acromosome. This is will enter into the ova. Then the membrane of the ova will break down and sperm enter. So we know that chromosomes 22 chromosomes from mother, 22 from father. So we have X chromosome, XX or XY chromosomes. Okay, so then a fertilization will begin. So 22, what will happen? 44 chromosomes. So it may be male or female. If XX bonding will happen, we have female. And if XY chromosomes bond, we have male. Okay, male. Once a sperm nucleus enter the ovum, changes in the cell membrane block the entry of other sperm. So one sperm enter into the ova. So then the layer will closed. So no other sperm will enter into the ova. Okay. The human diploid number of 46 chromosomes is actually 23 pairs of chromosomes. 23 from sperms and 23 from them. And these pairs consists 22 pairs of autosomes. Basically 23 chromosomes. But here autosomes. Autosomes is designated by the numerals 1 through 22 and one pair of sex chromosomes. Okay, 22 are the actual chromosomes. One is for sexual chromosomes to maintain. It may be a female, it may be male. So it will depend upon the one chromosome. So both XX meet, we have female, XY meet, then we have male. Women have the chromosomes XX. Okay. Women have the chromosomes XX and men have the six chromosomes XY. Okay. The Y chromosome has a gene that triggers the development of male gonads in the embryo. In the absence of Y chromosomes, the embryo will develop as female. Okay. So basically, we have 23 chromosomes. In that, one chromosome will have the designated that it will have the power of, it may be male or female. Okay, so that one chromosomes from the male is Y, and from the female X. XX belongs to female, XY belongs to male. Okay, so it will depend upon the chromosomes. So this is fertilization. So ova and sperm will meet together, and the membrane will, the acrosome will break and enter into the ova, and it will closed the layer, the membrane will closed, no other sperm will enter. So okay, then what will happen? Then the chromosomes will, then the decidation of maybe male or female will happen at that moment. So which cell will begin? Female or the human development or male human development, depending upon the chromosomes. Okay, next we have implantation. Now fertilization started. It will begin maybe male or female. Now we need to improve. We need to give the nutrition. We need to give everything to development, to implantation. Fertilization will really take place within the fallopian tube. So fertilization will take in fallopian tube. Okay, and the zygote begins to divide even as it begins swept down the uterus. So basically, it will go forward from the fallopian tubes as the zygote. We will call combine, we will call zygote. It will develop. These are mitotic divisions and called cleavage. Okay, here you can see that here. Here we have the, this is fertilization area. So gradually, second cell will develop in 36 hours, four cells in four cell stage is 48 hours. Next is morula, number of cells will develop here. Next we have that blastocyte, inner cell mass, blastocyte, trophoblast, everything will develop, and implantation will begin in 7th or 8th days. Okay, here we have the ovary, maturing follicles, primary follicles, corpus albicans, corpus luteum, ovum will enter into the fallopian tubes. Okay, ovulation will happen. Everything will happen. Then here fertilization begins, and the implantation it may take 7 to 8 days or 10 days minimum. Okay. The single cell zygote divides into two cell stage, four cell stage, eight cell stage, and so on. 3 days after fertilization, there are 16 cells. So after 3 days, it will become 16 cells, which continue to divide to form a solid sphere of cells called morula. So number of cells are there in morula. As mitosis proceeds, this sphere becomes hollow and is called blastocytes. And as the cell develop, we will give next name, that is blastocyte, which is still about the same size as the original zygote. A fluid-filled blastocyte consists of an outer layer of cells called the trophoblast and an inner cell mass that contains the potential embryo. It is the blastocyte stage that becomes implanted in the uterine wall. So at the 5 to 8 days or 10 days, the blastocytes, it have number of cells, it will implanted at the uterus. So then the fertilization is more will happen. After fertilization, the implantation will happen. Successful implantation is not simply a matter of the blastocytes containing the uterine lining. The endometrium produces carbohydrate docking molecules toward the end of the uterine cycle, and the blastocytes has surface protein that fits the docking sites. Once that this fit is made, the trophoblast secretes enzymes to digest the surface of the endometrium, creating a small crater into which the blastocyst sinks. The trophoblast will become the chorion. So here we have this is endometrium. So basically after here the blastocytes will have after blastocytes, this is the implantation period. The endometrium of the uterine wall, here the layer of the endometrium have to be broken and the cell will enter here. Okay, then what will happen? The development gradually, the development of fetus will happen, embryo will happen. Okay, gradually. So, so here the endometrium membrane will be break down and it will enter into that layer. So we will call that what will that process is called choroid. The embryonic membrane, the inner cell mass will grow to become the embryo and other membrane. So gradually they multiply and develop into the membrane. So this will happen. The cells of the inner cell mass are embryonic stem cells. These cells, all of DNA has the potential for being switched on. That is the potential exists for a cell development to any of the 200 kinds of human cells that will be present at birth. So basically you have the main potential DNA cell, okay, which will develop into further cells. From that cells only, number of cells will develop. We have 200 kinds of human cells. Okay, that DNA is present. That will present at birth as the cells continue to divide and more numbers, some DNA will be switched off in each cell. Genes will become inactive. And the possibilities for the specialization of each cell will be narrowed down. The switches are chemicals, few of which are known at present. A great deal of the research is focusing on discovering the stimuli that turn a stem cell into a muscle cell rather than a nerve cell or skin cell and so on. So basically the main DNA cell will have number of cells. Then from each cell, specialized cells will develop. Okay. Now is we'll get into embryo and embryonic membrane. So I think okay, we can see that after you can see that this is the diagram here, embryonic disc. So this is the 12th day of implantation. So here embryonic disc. Okay, this is here 14th day embryonic disc, cornicovilli, all gradually developing. Head of embryo is beginning from 20 days. Okay. This is next is here. This will become embryonic cord, umbilical cord, and this is head of embryo. This is limb buds. Here everything is given name: endometrium, trophoblast, amnion. This is amnion. Okay, yolk sac. Okay, this is embryo. This is placenta. Okay, everything. This is placenta. Okay, chorion. Okay, so this is approximately 4 to 5. This is the structure. So it gradually the everything is given here. One is I will tell that is amniotic fluid. The amnion is a thin membrane that eventually surrounds the embryo and contains amniotic fluid. So the friction to maintain the doesn't have friction, so we need fluid. Okay, so injury anything will happen. So when you excrete urine, okay, everything, anything, if you're sleeping, so what will happen? Friction of surfaces will happen. So to prevent the damage of embryo, we have amniotic fluid. Okay. So this is the development of embryo from first day to 4 weeks. Next is placenta and umbilical cord.